What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cy from Fabtcg, and today we have my U.S. Nationals in Deck Tech, sponsored by Team Oni. Now, I always like to give disclaimers out, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have my chair leaned back right now because it is currently 3 a.m. I leave to get on a plane in like 5 hours, and I've got not a lick of sleep in like forever. And I've recorded 6 deck techs back to back, and I've recorded like 10 videos just today. I'm very tired. I also work today. So, while yes, I would like this deck tech to be as professional as possible, I'm gonna let her know. I'm leaned back in my chair, and we're gonna be here for a minute. So, I suggest you guys do the same. Alright. So, Zen, Tamer of Purpose. What a ride this hero has been with me. When the set first came out, I was like, I'm a little unimpressed with him. I'm gonna need to see something else in. And then I started playtesting Zen a little bit, and I was like, ooh, this hero has some cool turns, but I'm not super impressed. But then, after more games and more games and more games, I became more and more like infatuated with the hero. I think that's the right name. And then I seen the show match on the Card Guys channel. I seen a few other people pilot Zen on like streams and stuff. And to go with my own testing, I came to the conclusion that I think Zen might be the best deck in the format. Now, is it close? Yes. I do think, regardless of where you have Zen or other adjacent heroes, I don't think the gap is too big. But I definitely think that if I had to pick one, I think Zen might be the best. Could be recency bias. I could be just wowed over some of the turns I've had with him. But this hero has something special. For me to want to play an aggro deck, you have to be able to do something special because I do not. I have a massive disdain for aggro decks. Zayla doesn't count as an aggro deck. I mean, it does, but whatever. I think I'm more of a control deck. That's just more proactive. But this deck has me excited. This deck has made it the hardest decision to lock in a deck for a tournament ever. Every single time I want to try to play something different, I just keep looking back at Zen and I'm just like, but that hero's broken. Even if I'm playing a different broken hero, I'm like, well, but Zen's also broken. I've invested probably more time in such a short amount of time span than I ever had. If you had like ratio of time spent versus allotted time, Zen has had to have crushed any record I've ever had. Just trying to figure this hero out. So let's move on because while I could just go card by card here, and which I will. Obviously, the first thing you guys are going to see, you guys are going to see something strange. Now, what you see before you is not something that I've created out of my own basement. No. This is some dark technology, and I'm going to be completely honest. This is some dark technology that was accidentally leaked. Was not supposed to be leaked. And, okay, actually, let me be more specific. The cards themselves, like the actual cards themselves, were not leaked. But there was some information that I got from another person testing that I was able to discern what the cards probably were. While I've never gotten confirmation because it's never really been brought up ever since that night. I've been mad testing with this in paper. Now, I've only had limited amount of games with this online because this is not a kind of thing I wanted out in the public. I've had to mostly resort to playing bot games versus myself, or again, I've just stuck to paper testing and gold fishing. And I definitely think Ornate Tessin is the truth. So, what is Ornate Tessin doing in this deck? Well, in a deck that has a lot of blues, a lot of one costs, ways to get flowing mana through Kasaya, typically I have like one extra mana on lot turn cycles. What else do I typically have of? Well, I might have an extra chi in my hand because I transcended. I probably have a crouching tiger from blocking with my boots. And instead of just throwing that crouching tiger for whatever damage it's going to be, probably like 1 or 2, I can use Ornate Tessin to bottom a card. Yeah, see? See? Now the gears are starting to turn. Yeah, see? I see the look on your face. Let's go. It is very awkward at first. To play Parents with Kakara became very fluid, so switching off of it felt weird, especially when you're just going to objectively a worse weapon that does not fill in your cost curve as well. But the thing that we got to look at is we're not here for the weapon. We're here for that one singular turn to get plus 3 to 5 value. And I think that that is more than enough to make up for not run Kakara. Kakara only really gets its value if you're making crouching targets consistently, which we are not. Well, we're not like a crouching tigers matters deck. Like, yeah, we'll take the crouching tigers for like things like breeding or something, or chase the tail. But it's not like every single turn needs to have a crouching tiger to function. And I am very curious because obviously I'm recording this before Nats. I am very, very curious on how people are going to react to me revealing this. Because obviously everyone's going to be like, okay, Zen, yep, makes sense. They're going to be like, yep, probably Kakar. Then they're going to see this and they're going to stop. They're going to want to read it. And they're going to start thinking. They're going to like, what the heck is this for? And what I'll tell people is like, don't think too hard about it. It's for exactly what you think it's for. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. It's exactly what they think it's for. Sorry, I had to check and see what else they're recording. On to Stride of Reprisal. This is a strict upgrade to Pouncing. Was it Pouncing Paws? It's the one from the Tulare Community College deck, the one that puts the Crouching Tiger into Banish. With this card in the deck, there's just no reason to run that. You, under almost every circumstance, would rather have it in your hand, especially in this deck that because it runs the Tinson. And also things like Rising Sun Setting Moon, things like Art of War. It being your banish just doesn't do anything except protect against disruption, but if they disrupt your Crouching Tiger, it's like, who cares really? I don't know. The people coping with Pouncing Paws, I don't know. Shuko. I am so glad that this deck can play Shuko and it's not Draconic Ninja. They could have made a big mistake and just made this Draconic Ninja. And then the reason to Zen, I mean, there'd still be a reason to play Zen. But some of Zen's matchups actually would take a little bit of a hit. Even the non-Lucius ones, just the one extra damage on certain turn cycles, getting you through the hump, those longer games, they add up a lot. And just losing it for kind of nothing would definitely suck. But yeah, Shuko's a welcome change. It's also underrated. It's a 2 block, which we'll definitely take on turns where we have to block with armor and stuff and pivot. Having a 2 block just in your arm piece that you don't have to work for, it's definitely really good. Next, we have the best headpiece in the game, and this deck abuses the headpiece like it's almost at minimum 8 value. Almost every single freaking time. Whenever you see a Zen block with their headpiece, oh, you know it's go time. The only issue is, are you going to be able to stop it? That's the unique thing about Zen, unlike Katsu, where Katsu needs to hit. Once Katsu hit, Katsu can kind of keep going. But it's like Zen can just wake up, open their eyes, and then have the nuts turn. They can just have it. And the most they ever have to work for is like with this headpiece. You know, you go block with this, get a chi. You have a 6 card hand. You just go ham. You get a free freaking tutor, or you get a free blue for your blue matters deck. There's almost not much more you could ask for. Like this headpiece is almost like a custom card, in my opinion, because you literally couldn't have told me how Misfell works. There's nowhere I make this kind of headpiece. Especially when there's a hero like Zen that's just waiting to be broken by a single card, and by God, I think they did it. Last, the fact that this is like $30 makes me angry. Obviously, I got it for a good price. I got it for like 70 on like release weekend. I kind of got clapped a little bit, but this card's insane. I think it's actually worth 70 freaking dollars. The sole fact that people are paying $30 for this broken ass equipment is beyond me. I'll never understand it. This card's insane. This card's legit insane. There's only three matchups I don't play it in, and that's just because they're super freaking teched. And realistically, you could still play this chess piece in those matchups that I have super tech that need a different chess piece, and you'd be perfectly fine because this chess piece is broken. This gives you resource, it gives you 2 block on equipment, and also in resolution step, anytime you block with it, you could just have a Zen State token for 2 turns. And the really OP thing about it is against decks like Runeblade, against like the Mirror, is like Zen State tokens are just fucking so overpowered. Like the wider and the smaller each deck goes, the better Zen State token gets. And the fact that you can just make one with, an extra chi laying around after you block 2 is pretty insane. So that's going to be the equipment. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we will get to our main deck. Because that's where some more spice is. Oh, right. So, starting off with the main deck, 3-aspect of Tiger Body. This is probably one of your top 3 cards on your combo turn if you have an Art Horror active. If you have an Ancestral Harmony, it's fine too. But this card really abuses Art of War. Because it always makes a body, it is almost better than any other card you could get. Because it itself gets buffed, and then the thing that you're grabbing is going to get buffed. It's also 0 cost. Like that's also a big thing. It's a 0 cost. It's a block. It's a 0 cost. It's a block 3. It comes in for 3. It's like, what's the down? The only downside is have natural go again, but you can't give a card like this natural go again. You need the claws. If the clause was if you played a red, you get the Crouching Tiger. This deck would be broken if this had natural go again, because it would change how so many lines have to be. Like you're restricted in some of your lines specifically because this needs a red card before it. But like you're almost always down to take that downside because of this card's upside. You're on 6 bonds. I've seen some lists that's on the full 9. I think either 6 or 7 is correct. I think taking in possibly 1 yellow bonds. That's definitely up for debate. I wouldn't hate it if you played it. I don't know if you need to go that deep. That's just adding more go again, non-go again to the deck. When this deck actually it has a good amount of natural go again, but there is enough to where I'm a little bit scared about adding more. It's on that very fine line of having natural go again and not. But the deck is a bonds deck while only playing 6. This deck abuses bonds even more in Katsu. Fucking love this card. Breed Anger. This is just a simple 1 for 4. If you put a Crouching Tiger before it, you make a Crouching. It gets go again. You make another Crouching Tiger. This is another card that's really, really good on an Art of War turn, and it's okay on an Ancestral Harmony turn. I mean, 1 for 5 is not something you're ever going to complain about, but if you can get a 1 for 6, you'll definitely take it. So, Censor is the first bit of spice you're going to see in this deck. Why Censor? So, when this deck was originally a Kakara deck, I wanted some more 1 costs to pair along with Kakara to be more mid-rangey. And Censor was one of the first cards I thought of. It allowed me to go Kakara into a 1 cost, which being Censor. Now my opponent has to make a weird decision if they're going to block this. If they don't block this, this is a 2 for 7 that has an on-hit of I get to call a card, you don't get to play it. And if they give me 2 cards, they now are on a 2-card hand. And now I'm likely to be able to have tempo if I have an arsenal already. And if I don't, and they give me 2 cards, it's still fine. It's likely that I either have to give only 1 or 0 cards next turn, and I can still have just a fine turn without any buffs. But Censor just allows. It's a really weird guessing game where I have to understand the power cards in my opponent's deck and what's likely to be played. My opponent has to know if I know what that answer is. Because, yeah, I can in theory call anything, but if it's not in their hand or it's never going to be in their hand, the card just does nothing. So a lot of people kind of just let this hit and they just spin the wheel to see if I can guess right, which a lot of times I actually guess a card and I see them pitch it. It actually happens a lot. More often than you think, really. Yeah, this card's pretty fucking good. The downside I would see people saying is like, oh, it's a brick off of Ancestral. It's probably a brick off of Art of War. But realistically, if the worst thing I'm doing on my turn is throwing a Censor, I think I'm doing something right. And of course, it's a block 3. Chase the Tail. Chase the Tail is actually kind of gone down in value for me. The card's still definitely playable, but requires 2 Crouching Tigers, 1 before, 1 after. If you have 2 Crouching Tigers, it's a 1 for 7, which you'll definitely take. But because we don't make a ton of Crouching Tigers, while having the singlets that we could play a Crouching Tiger before this, it gets weird. It immediately gets weird. Again, I think in Kakara, so the one downside of the Kadachi versus the Kakara is we're losing 1 damage every single time we play the mid-range game and we go weapon into an attack. And for example, if we had Kakara, it would be a 2-card 6. And instead it's going to be a 2-card 5. Predicting that we have a 0 cost in the pitch zone. Like I said, I think this card's exactly fine. Could you cut it down to like 2? Probably. Heck, I know some builds that are. I'm personally not, but I don't hate people that are. 6 just Gust Waves go along with our 6 bonds. Pretty simple. 2 Flusterfists. It's a 0 for 4. It's exactly fine. It's a halfway decent tutor target. We are on 2 shifts, so opponent does need to be watch out on a shift's turn. If we have any pump for the Crouching Tigers, our opponent's in really, really big danger of just getting their booty hole wide and open by a Salty Wound, technically. This is just Salty Wound at home. But yeah, a lot of people don't respect this kind of card. And it mostly comes back to, like, they don't respect Kadachis. Or they don't respect Crouching Tigers. So we can get a lot of cheap free hits, and then this just comes in for a lot of damage. Salty Wound is a very known card. People kind of understand. And it's weird. People assume we're not on Salty Wound, so they actually block less. We're 5, they know they can immediately go get it with Links, so they'll respect it more because we're on Links. People just like forget about it, even though we have the exact same card, but in the command zone and it's less restricting. I don't know if personally know. It's just people play weird. 3 Harmony the Hunt. This is allowing us to get in with the Crouching Tiger. Again, the downside is not run Kakara is where normally the Crouching Tiger would come in for 1 after we swing our weapon. It does not, so a lot of times we can have a wasted Crouching Tiger, but I don't hate just arsenal Crouching Tiger in this kind of build. We're on 600 wind. We don't need more than that. We're on a 1-1 split of Mauling Key and Pound and Go, mostly because I don't own any more Mauling Key, I'm going to be honest. But Pound and Go has a very specific role in this deck. It's a 1 for 5 just like Mauling Key. But it has this text. If Open Center was the last attack this combat chain, Pound and Go gets its Pound and Go would deal damage to a hero, instead it deals double that much damage. This is a card that I've gotten to pull off one time, and it's been a 1 for 10. And it's because our opponent blocked out early on like a bonds line. We played a bunch of Crouching Tigers. We played one Crouching Tiger named Open the Center, and then we sent Pound and Go in for 5, and it dealt 10. The dopamine I got from that is something I've never experienced before, and I would like to experience again. So if opponents, you guys just want to keep forgetting Pound and Go as a card in my deck because it's a 1-of and no one else plays it, continue. Tiger Swipe, I'll be completely honest, Tiger Swipe's like okay. It's fine. The best part about Tiger Swipe is on like on a 2-card hand I can go like pitch a blue to Zen, go Crouching Tiger for 0, Tiger Swipe for 5. That's a really good 1-card hand. A 1-card, or you can sometimes call it a 0-card 5. I'll take something like that. I definitely will take something like that. Next, going to the yellows, we just have 3 Art of War. It's mostly there to manage Crouching Tigers. I mean, you guys know what Art of War is. Going on to your blues, we have Ancestral Harmony. This is here to enable Transcend. And able to make our really big combo turns nice because we get the Anthem effect on all of our combo cards, not just like the next. And if this hits, ooh, especially if this hits like a Bonds or a Gust Wave and we can go fetch the other, ooh, it's just so good. It's so good. 2 Captain's Call, shout out to Nathan Crawford for the tech. This is a lot of times +2. We get to use this on like a Crouching Tiger or something. And it's fine. The Crouching Tiger coming in for 3, and then other stuff afterward we'll definitely take. 100 Winds coming in for 5. I mean, the list kind of goes on playable cards with this. The only downside is a 2 block, but it's very modal, which is very nice in this deck. First Transcend card, we have Homage Ancestors. We have Oron, Mystical Tenets. Not a lot of decks are on this because this card can be kind of clunky at times. But this is one of the cards similar to like Art of War, where I usually wait for 2 buffs to be able to go off. Tinson is the exception. Is if I can make a Chi on a turn cycle and I have like Tinson in the arsenal, I will 100% go. Cause I'm drawing 3 cards. It's hard not to draw like something playable. Especially since if I can make another energy, if I can transcend again, then I get another resource and I can search, and then now we're just like really just plussing on resources at that point. But it's a card I can definitely see being cut if people are scared of the no block and want a few more combo cards in their deck. Next we have the rest of our Transcend cards. We have Passover, Preserved Tradition, Rising Sun, Setting Moon, Sacred Jadar, Tiger Domain. We have Shifts. Shifts is here for a Bonds line, for our 100 line, and our Open the Center lines and other stuff. This card isn't always going to like win you the game, that's why it's at 2, but it's a non-block blue. One big thing is like, New really can't play this card well, but I have been dishonored by a New one time. I mean, they died immediately afterward, but it is possible, so that is something that you do need to look out for. And lastly, we just have 1 Traka. It's a 0 for 1 or 3, depending if you've transcended this turn. Yeah, pretty simple. Moving on to the inventory. So the inventory has been probably the hardest part for me to navigate, is what exactly I'm wanting to index versus. I'm trying to cover a few different bases and be very diverse with my cards. Starting with the Exude Confidence. The Exude Confidence is a 0 for 4 that says... try to get it on the big screen. While Exude Confidence is not being defended by a card with equal or greater power, the defender cannot activate or play instants or defense reactions on this combat chain. Instant pay 3, Exude Confidence +2, activate the spell and while it's attacking. So basically, this is there for your things like Enigma, things like Prism, things like Kano. Is like you have to play out what you're going to do now, or you're not doing it at all. No, yes, for someone like Prism, she can just put a Herald in front of it and kind of move on today. But if you're putting your Herald in front of this just so you can play instant speed, I feel like as a Zen player, I'm kind of weighing that. But like I said, it's also 0 for 4. Not bad. Tiger Reflex. This is there for your Summer Slam matchups that are hitting you big. You can easily just block from Arsenal, get a little extra tankiness, and make a material in your Banish Zone, which making a free material while blocking. Absolutely, we'll do it every single time. It's just like kind of like your boots, right? Cosmic Awakening. So for the first time ever, I got to resolve Cosmic Awakening in testing. And it was by total accident. So what happened was I had like triple transcend card in my hand plus some random card. I transcended a bunch of times, was able to dump like exactly one of them because I already zenned. And I was kind of miserable because I was like, I think I'm going to lose the game because I have 2 chi in my hand. But my opponent blocked. I forget what I sent. But my hand, what I drew was Chi, Cosmic Awakening, Chi. And my eyes just got big, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never done this before. And it's the first time I ever been able to actually resolve the card. I sent a Cosmic Awakening for 20. And my opponent was just like, what the f just happened? Why is this swinging for 20? And I was like, I don't know why it's swinging for 20. I mean, I'm reading the card just like you are, but I don't know either. Yeah, the card's pretty good. It's not a card I would like take damage or take awkward play patterns to make good. It's just exactly fine. Snag for your new matchup. I did find out that this only works on attack reactions, not weapons. Oh, sorry, this only works on attack actions. Yeah, not weapons. That's all right. Yeah, I tried to play this versus Dorinthia, and I regret my life afterward. But yeah, this card's really good versus new. It's pretty much the only matchup that we bring it into. So starting with my Zen Tech, we're on 2 Talisman or Cremation. This says, when you play a card from Banish Zone, destroy this, and name a card. Banish all cards with the chosen name from each opponent's graveyard. This does have some cross in the decks like Levy, obviously. But for Zen, you play a card, you get rid of like their bonds or the set it. Whichever one has more or is more important. It's been pretty good, especially Zens that don't see it coming. They just have a big graveyard of like one kind of card, and I just get rid of them all, and then the matchup gets pretty easy from there because their bonds just end up sucking. Next, Blazing Orion. Blazing Orion is probably the most questionable spot in my sideboard. In testing, it's felt good because I've gotten the 5 block out of every single one. And with how weird the matchup is, I think the 5 life might be more important than the resource that you get. But the thing is, I think Kasaya is broken. So I am kind of having an internal battle of, am I supposed to play Yorion or am I supposed to play Kasaya? Because if I cut Yorion, I don't really know what I would add. So I'm probably fine with keeping Yorion. It is just a card that I definitely wish I had more time to test. And lastly, we have 2 AB in the legs and arms, and we have Spell for Tiara for Kano. So overall, that's going to be the deck tech, guys. I think I'm leaning most towards Zen for the calling. Obviously, one of the other decks that you guys have seen on the channel might overtake him. But if I do take Zen, hopefully you guys get to see a picture on Twitter of me doing a funny turn, or who knows, maybe in my catch-up vlog that I'm going to have, I can like post a picture of one of my discussing turns, like probably like right here. I can show it, and like, the whole thing I just realized is I'm talking about a future video, and I'm like, here, yeah, click this right here. Like, no, that's not how it works. I'm gonna go to bed, guys, because I'm starting to get a little too tired. Thank you guys for coming to me through this journey of all these deck techs I've done back to back to back. It means a lot. It's been your boy Siphon from Fabtcg. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.